This is exactly how fasting can repair and recycle your DNA, increase your lifespan, improve your alertness and focus, and also improve your discipline. I'm going to take you on my journey of a 4-day fast and describe to you day by day exactly what's going on inside of my body and also with my mental state. Now, if you are going to try this at home, please first seek the advice of a medical professional or get medical supervision. You cannot be careful enough, but by the end of the video, you can also see whether I succeeded or failed. But regardless of the result, you will have learned by the end of this video exactly what the benefits are to you and your lifespan through the mechanisms that are induced by fasting. And if you want to continue to learn about well-being and also habits and productivity, then click on my page, click that subscribe button, and I will see you in my other videos. So let's improve ourselves together. So it is day 1 of my 4-day fast. Now, day 1 can be incredibly hard. It is that first starting point where you first feel that hunger and stress and things like that can very easily knock you off the wagon, as it were. You need to have a strong reason for doing this, and knowing the implications and the positive impacts that it can have on your health is a massive starting point to your why. This is not advice in any way, but it is something that I encourage you to explore, check out, research, consult with the medical professional about, because I think the health benefits can be amazing when it comes to fasting, especially when it comes to things like autophagy and ketosis and the interesting processes that occur once you start fasting, especially over a long period of time. If you're worried about what this means in terms of how we've evolved, then don't worry too much. Many of our ancestors have fasted for long periods of time. In fact, a lot of our ancestors, when they were hunter-gatherers, could go days without food, and this ketosis process is actually what helped them to focus and improve their hunting skills and so on. And a great recommendation, if you haven't watched Limitless on Disney Plus with Chris Hemsworth, he actually does a fast with the well-renowned Peter Attia, who wrote the book Outlive, an amazing book. Then I would highly recommend that you go watch this, especially the fasting one. It's super interesting, super informative about the benefits to your health that fasting can have, among other things we can do to improve our longevity. So I will see you on day 2. So it's day 2 of my 4-day fast now. Fatigue is really starting to kick in, and I am getting very tempted to eat as my brain tries to convince myself that I don't really need to do this. I'm healthy enough, but we're sticking at it so that I can do these videos and speak to you about the benefits that come day by day. Now, we are well in the range of 12 to 48 hours now, leaning more toward 48 hours. I think we're almost at that. So at this point in time, autophagy is occurring in my body. Damaged DNA and zombie cells, otherwise called senescent cells, are getting taken away and recycled and repaired, which is exactly what we want. It's the healthiest thing to repair our DNA, and also this will help fight against aging. But one thing that we're not benefiting from is how food can communicate to our suprachiasmatic nucleus, i.e. our body clock, what time of day it is, which optimizes a series of other functions. So one thing I'm making sure to do is getting outdoors in the day to get natural daylight into my eyes, which is one mechanism we can utilize to make sure our body knows what time of day it is, so that they can optimize the function of all the cells in our body so that they essentially know when to do what they need to. This includes our hormones, neurotransmitters, and all sorts of cells that help our body to operate day to day based on the time of day. One example of this is the release of melatonin in the evening, for example, which is why it can be really good to also go out in the evening time, even when it's dark, if you have missed that daytime sunlight and haven't managed to get out in it. Evening can also communicate to your body what time of day it is. So I'm looking forward to day 3 because it means I'm one day closer to eating. It is probably the hardest day because obviously I'm the most hungry, I'm the most fatigued, and still quite a way to go before I can eat, but I've already written a long list of the things I'm very excited to eat. Stay tuned whilst I speak in the next clips about when we start to potentially enter something called ketosis. There's another stage involved in a longish fast. Okay, it is day 3. I feel slightly fresh because I've just come out the shower, but energy today has been pretty low. Don't feel as sort of tired. There's, you know, patches of tiredness here and there. I have found that I get head rushes quite fast when getting up, so you've got to be careful with that. But also, I just feel quite weak today, which is the main sort of feeling that I've been getting. But I'm super excited. If you can see my TikTok for you page right now, it's full of recipes and foods. I'm super excited. I've had loads of inspiration about food I can cook, so that's one benefit of it. But as my body has now been in the process of autophagy for quite a while now, I'm hoping to reap some real benefits from that regarding the DNA repair and things like that. And also I've ready and prepped in order to go for a takeaway tomorrow. How I'm going to have a salad before to limit my blood sugar spike and not go overboard as I have done on previous fasts where I've just felt horrendous after eating. So one more day to go. Today's the hardest day. I've come close to quitting, I can't lie, but the fact that I'm filming this video has kept me accountable. So this is why I always say, tell a friend your goals, tell a friend you're doing, keeps you accountable. Last day of the 4-day fast, where I will probably enter ketosis. A good sign of ketosis is unfortunately smelly breath. I'm not going to put that to the test. I'm not going to ask anyone to smell my breath, but it is where your body starts to resort to using fat as a resource for energy. And this can also come with a level of focus at points in time. So one more day, which I'll show in the next clip, of what feels like the longest week of my life so far. One more day. So it is day 4 of the fast and I failed. Now, for good reason. We reached 86 hours, just falling short of the 4-day target. But one really important thing I want to note. This morning I woke up and had quite a bad headache. Now, this can be expected during a fast, but some other signs were a little cause for concern. Now, I started to feel really dizzy, quite unstable on my legs. My legs feel very weak and also just a bit nauseous. I looked this up and this can be signs of hypoglycemia. Now, although this is unlikely to be the case on a 4-day fast, I haven't had any sort of medical checks in quite a while, and I'm certainly not under medical supervision during this test. So I didn't want to risk it. It's very important that if you're going to try something like this, and again, this is not advice, do not try this unless you consult a healthcare professional, but if you were to, I'd advise being very careful about these sort of things because you can feel quite ill toward the end, especially if your body hasn't experienced anything similar to this before. Hypoglycemia can cause things like going unconscious all of a sudden, possibly in worst case scenarios, going into a coma or death. Now, of course, like I said, from a 4-day fast, very unlikely. It's where the glucose levels in your blood become incredibly low, but it is simply not worth the risk. And also, I already know that autophagy has already occurred in my body. Parts of my DNA would have been restored and repaired and recycled, which is exactly what I'm aiming for. We may have reached ketosis. I'm not entirely sure because I don't have the facilities to measure that. But ketosis is where your body takes some of your fat to the liver, where this is transformed into a ketone, which is then used as an alternative fuel source. But we did reach 86 hours, which I'm super proud of. I had a takeaway, like I said. If you do something like that, make sure not to overshoot because I've been in a food coma all day and I've done that every single long fast I've ever tried to do. And also a salad or something like that before, veggies, fruits, will hopefully limit the blood sugar spike that is induced by having a meal, especially after this long of fasting. If you have any questions about fasting or other content you'd like me to produce on well-being or anything habits and productivity, then drop them in the comments and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can also check out my TikTok page if you want to see a bit more of me while scrolling. Otherwise, thanks for watching the video and I hope you subscribe so you can see more, and I hope I can bring value and benefit to you in some way.